So far, so good.
Great.
Yeah, so far, so good. Yeah, I've only gotten two sales this month, which isn't the best, but I'm definitely finding the training very helpful so far.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. How long have you been in the business, Dalton?
6 months.
Great. What has been your best
I've
month?
been I've been at this location for about 3 months though. And my best month, I sold four cars in 1 month, and I got five deals.
Great. Good for you. So, the previous dealer that you were at was who?
Sheer Chevrolet.
Okay. Great. Any training there, Dalton?
No, no, just the company training. So like General Motors training there.
They have a
Yeah,
very elaborate website, don't they, for training, but it's just purely product knowledge about all of their services, right? About their points cards, about their extended warranties, about their automobiles, and really nothing to help build you as an individual and help convert customers, right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, this is the first we've ever done any actual like customer training and how to interact with people, talk with people, do presentations, all that. So
Fantastic. Now I am just going to bring up your, oh, I know where I stored that. Just going to grab that. Uh, just what your comments were. Gonna put that over here so that you can see me. Uh, yeah, that isn't what I wanted.
my comments when I was booking the
Yeah, there we
one-on-one.
go. Got him. So you've completed step 9. Good for you. Um, and tell me how, good, Dalton, really quickly, because we only have 45 minutes or so, but tell me
Mhm.
how you enjoyed the entire process, like from the first phase where we really talk about the fundamentals of what you do with customers on the showroom floor and on the telephone, right, that are walking in. That's the dynamic buyer odyssey and profiling those customers, and then right through to the 8 steps, and then the obviously the presentation secrets. What did you get most out of that? Out of that first phase and those 3 steps?
I think the most I got out of that was definitely understanding how customers go from their old vehicle to their new one, how it's more of just a bridging process, and it kind of clarified it and simplified it a lot more. But also doing the walkarounds, finding points to talk about, where to start, where to finish. And it kind of adds a bit of structure to a walk around, not kind of just winging it every time. So
Fantastic. Great. Yep. Winging it is the recipe for disaster and no success at all, right? Like that is in my world, we call it broad. A broad scope is winging it. And broad, Dalton, means broke. When you just decide to walk into the
mhm,
dealership and let the day unfold for you, and whatever's going to happen, let it just happen to you. That's where average ordinary salespeople
mhm.
fail, and that's where you don't even need to worry about getting fired because you just have to quit. It drives you nuts. You just can't stand it anymore. That is the process of the 3 phases. Because I'm sure what all of you want to know is, Bill, just teach me how to close. Okay. All I want to do is close. If I could close 100% of the people that walked in that I talked to, I'd sell 10 cars a month easily, right? The reality is,
Mhm.
the reality is, if you haven't set the deal up properly, if you haven't established that bridging process, and make no mistake, customers are smart, Dalton, aren't they? They are going to
Mhm.
convince you their old car is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It things running great. It's paid for. Uh, it may not be the newest, but it works. The tires may be a
Hmm.
little worn on the shoulders, but they've still got lots of tread on them. All of that, Dalton, you've got to believe is a load of crap. Not that you have to call them out on it, not that you have to be mean about it or rude or condescending. But the reality is, why are they calling you, emailing you, or standing right in front of you?
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
That's when you
Yeah.
get
Makes plenty of sense. I completely agree.
great. That's when you get when you really, really, really swallow that belief. That's when you understand every shopper is a buyer. And average ordinary salespeople hear
Hmm.
that statement all the time. They go, "Yeah, but," and then they'll fight me on it. I say, "Yeah, but Bill, like, what about the guy that comes out of the service department? He's waiting for his car, and his car is a month old. That guy's not a buyer. Looking at the new product, really? He may not be considering that car for his spouse, or she couldn't be considering it for her spouse in the showroom. May not be considering it for a mom or a dad, an uncle or an aunt. May not be considering it for a child. And if, of course, if they're really close with their brothers and sisters, may not be considering it for a sibling. When you really believe that everyone who walks into the showroom is a buyer, here's another, let me add another twist on that for you. You know what you are going to become really great at, Dalton, in your life, in your whole career? You know what you're going to become really great at?
What's that?
You are going to become really great, super amazing at talking people into payments they can't afford, colors they don't like, features that they don't even want. And that's how you will get a big house, lavish vacations, a boat up in Midland, and a fancy retirement. How do you feel about your job now?
It's okay. I'm not making as much money as I thought I would be, but
Generally, when I share those sentiments with someone, they go, "Oh my God, Bill, like I don't think I like being a car salesman now. I'm going to be talking people into colors they don't like, features they don't want, payments they can't afford. That's what my job is." No, no, it is not. Because the customer makes that decision, not you.
mhm.
They'll tell you, "I don't like that color. I don't need that feature. I can't afford that payment." But they'll still take it because you, Dalton, take them from that old car to the new car, and your bridging process of understanding who they are, communicating effectively with them, following the 8 steps, especially when they say, "Dalton, all I need is your best price." Okay, that's all I want. I don't need to see it. I don't need to drive it. I'm not sure if I'm trading my car. And all I need from you, Dalton, right now, today, I've got 5 minutes. I don't have any time to talk. I just need your best price. Can you just do that for me? I've been to 10 places and damn it all, I'm pissed off. Can you just get me your best price, please? And if you believe them, Dalton, and you go get the best price, you just gave them what I call a hunting license. And they take your hunting license and they go from dealer to dealer to dealer to dealer to dealer, see if they can better it. And if they can't better it, they'll come back to you. But they won't tell you the truth. Always keep that in mind. And it's not that they're telling lies. It's not that customers lie to us. You're going to hear all those ridiculous statements as well. But they will try you on for size. They will say, "I've got a better price
Mhm.
down the road, but I like you, Dalton, and I want a deal here. So what's the very best you can do? I know you gave me your best price." That's the point of the 8 step process. Have you printed, Dalton, that 8 step map out? And do you have it on your desk? Do you have it in your car? Do you have it at home where you'll see it first thing in the morning?
Yeah, I have it actually written out as well. I found writing it out, I had a better chance of remembering it than just printing it. So I wrote out each step. It took me a bit, but yeah.
Good for you. Don't do it in a linear fashion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do it like the math. Because
Mm-hmm.
now, when a customer comes in and says, Dalton, I want your best price, what step are we on?
They're trying to jump to uh, step 6,
Yes,
the
that
purchase consultation.
100%. Exactly. And what is your next move with them at that step 6?
To bring them back to step 1,
No,
the welcome.
you've already done step 1, you're at the welcome. You've done that, right?
Oh,
As soon as you
mhm,
meet them, as soon as they say to you, even they you may not get your welcome out, right? They could say,
mhm,
"Hey pal, all I want is your best price." You know you're at step 6, right?
mhm,
Everybody starts in the same place. Step 1. Your smile
mhm,
alone could be your welcome. So that's okay.
mhm.
But you're on the right track. You bring them back to step 2, the hub,
Step
the
2, the
interview.
interview.
Yeah, bingo. And from step 2, you go to what step?
Step 3, walk around presentation.
Ideally. But take
Correct?
your lead from the shopper, right? So going back to step number 1, those aggressive shoppers,
Mhm.
you could say to them, you say, have you driven it? They go, yeah, no, I don't need to drive it. So you correct me if I'm wrong. Would you buy a pair of shoes that you've never tried on? Go ahead, tell me you bought shoes on the internet before. I get that. But let me ask you this then. Would you keep a pair of shoes that didn't fit? And they go, well, yeah, I bought shoes over the internet. And did they all fit? No. And what did you do? I sent them back. Bingo. Okay, this is the only free ride you're going to get in your entire life, buddy. Okay, I'm offering you a free ride. So if we just drive around the dealership, that's all I'm asking you to do. Okay, because I get way too many people to come in and say, "Give me your best price." We go through all that. We take them out on a drive, and they go, "Oh my gosh, the seats are stiff," or "This one has a heated steering wheel," or "Can you show me how the how I get maps up out of my phone on the dash? My buddy's got that. Can we just do a drive around the dealership? So take your lead from them for your next step. And of course, it could be trade appraisal, right? You could say to them, "What are you currently driving?" They go, "Why does that matter?" Well, if you're going to trade it in, or even better than that, you just ask them, "Is it leased or financed?" And they go, "Well, why does that matter?" Well, because you can't trade in a leased vehicle. Okay. So if you are driving something now and it's leased, you're probably going to lease your next new one, right? So I'll build payments on our best lease opportunity. And they go, "Oh, so it's almost like you're trying to read their mind. What's the next step? What are you thinking of?" Right. And that fits into that 8 step plan because you're saying to yourself, just like when you go up to Steve or Mark and you say, "Hey guys, I got this guy at my desk and he wants our best price." Okay, Dalton, have you shown him the car? Have you driven him in the car? Have what are we looking for in terms of payments? If I give him my best price right now, will he take it today? And if you don't have answers to all of that based on the overview benefit permission strategy, right, at OBP strategy, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, what I'd like to do is give me 2 seconds to show you 3 things nobody else knows about on the vehicle. Then what I'd like to do is you sit in the car and give me your impressions. Tell me what you think of it. And by car, I mean SUV, truck, or van, right? Or Jeep. And then what I'd like to
Mhm.
suggest is we do a quick evaluation drive. Now, if you don't have time for that, we can set an appointment later on, or you can take your chances and come in and see me, and hopefully I'm available and I can just toss you the keys. Only at that point, once we've selected the right vehicle, then we should explore financing and financing options. Does any of this make sense to you folks? Right? Make them say, "Hey, I know all about it," or they go, "Dalton, that's an excellent plan." Like, wow. That 8 step process, Dalton, scientifically defines how you sell a car. So if you think like a scientist as opposed to a wildly creative musician, And that's how most salespeople wing it, right? They're like musicians. They pick up their guitar or they sit down on the drums and they start knocking out a beat, and then they mix it up with a riff, and it sounds good. And you think to yourself, wow, that's pretty cool. But there's no music to it. It's just rhythm and cadence. And it sounds good, but it's not a song. It's not going to be a hit. It's not going to be something you and I can dance to. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So when you take that
Yeah,
scientific
no, it
approach,
makes a lot of sense. I'm also writing a lot of this down right now.
cool, great. Okay, don't hesitate to say, Bill, stop, stop, stop. I talk fast and I talk too much, Dalton. Don't
That's
hesitate to
okay.
stop. Great. Now, when we package that first phase up with your suggestion on cold calls, I'm struggling with cold calling and following up. Are we talking unsold traffic here, Dalton, or are we talking about your prospecting efforts, such as the prospect harvesting pipeline process that we went through the class yesterday?
Yeah, it's more the prospect harvesting. So once a month we get a finance pull ahead list, and we reach out to those customers and then call them know we can get you big discounts, and some of them go okay, but I feel like that's one of the areas where I could improve, reaching out to customers out of the blue.
Great, dynamite. Okay, so on your piece of paper right now, I want you to draw a cross, like a big plus sign, and leave lots of room to be able to fill in the 4 boxes around the plus sign. Have you got that?
Got it.
Okay, upper right-hand corner is going to be aggressive buyers. The upper left hand, pardon me, I got that backwards. Upper left hand was the aggressive buyers, Dalton. I'm sorry about that. Upper left hand is the aggressive
That's
buyers.
okay.
Good. Upper right hand are the talkatives. Below the talkatives are the listeners. And beside the listeners, underneath the aggressives, are the enthusiasts. Do you remember seeing that graphic at all?
I do, yes.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to show you a really easy place to see that as well. I am going to share my screen and show you where we find this. Here we are here.
This is in lesson 2, correct?
You actually lesson 1. Yeah, you're right. The dynamic buyer odyssey.
Lesson
I
1.
talk about it in as well in step 2 as well. But here, this is so. This is where you're going to find a lot of this documentation really easily. Are you are you signed up with Gmail? Do you have a Google account?
You cut up for a second there.
Sure, no problem. Do you have Gmail? Do you have a Google account?
I don't have Gmail, no. I have Outlook and the emails.
But you don't have a Gmail address? You don't have a Google account?
I do not. No, no.
Okay, no problem at all.
I have a
And
Yahoo account.
nope, that's okay. So I'll take you into Facebook instead. Just go to my Facebook page. There we are. So here in the private members group, Dalton, and
Mhm.
I know I was just going through it today. I know you're in here. There we are. Great. Okay. So in the private members Facebook group, you know how to access that. Right here in
I do.
files, can you see that?
No, right now you're on a new tab in Google.
Oh, okay. Let me go to my full screen. Where's my full screen? Isn't that funny? Isn't that weird? Why? Oh, because I'm on this screen. Okay. So you can't see my Facebook one. Okay. So I will. So you can see my Google email page right here.
I can, yes.
Great. Dang it. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Then I will stop sharing my screen. I'll grab another screen, the one that I want to be on. Here we go. There we are. Okay, Dalton, can you see my Facebook page now?
I can, yes.
Fantastic. See this files right here? This is brought by the way, the private members group. So this isn't the Auto
Yes.
Dealership Academy's page. This is the private members group. Great. And files, you just click on files. And these files are all in Google Drive. But if you don't have a Google account, then you won't have Drive. So you can access them right here. So here's that walk around delivery one. Here are some cheat sheets for negotiating, the worksheets, all the way through to the blueprint workbook, which you want to get working on that as well. And what I wanted to draw your attention to was the frameworks. Here we go, the Buyer Odyssey frameworks. So the frameworks looks like this. It may request that I download it. So in the interest of time and ease of accessibility, I am going to bring that up out of my Google Drive and buyer framework. Fantastic. Okay. So let me bring up that screen for you, pal. Okay, so where I was taking you there with files, this is what you're going to see. Can you see it there now?
I did, yeah.
Okay, great. So this is what you just drew out on that piece of paper. I only wanted you to draw it so that you're really committed to memory. There's the aggressive, the talkative, the listener, and the enthusiast. Now, the
Hmm.
secret to telephone conversations with cold traffic or with hot leads is mirror and matching the cadence of communication. So it's more important how you say it, Dalton, than what you actually say. So, for instance, with aggressive and talkative buyers, they speak and act at a very hurried pace. And with enthusiasts and listeners, they speak slow and more deliberate, conscientiously, very specific. That's why we call these guys over here enthusiasts. They want to know everything about the car, like your whole walk around presentation, a 40-minute, a 1 hour presentation. These guys up here, the aggressives, they may tolerate 3 or 4 points on the whole entire car. They just don't have any time for anybody. They live on caffeine and nicotine. These talkatives will talk your ear off, get nothing done, realize that they've spent 3 hours, half a day with you, and then they go, oh my gosh, I got to leave. And the listener is, I find, the most challenging for salespeople because while you're talking and they're looking at you, you can misinterpret their politeness for being interested. Now, these talkatives and the listeners, Dalton, are really cooperative. They're nice to work with. They see the world as friendly. You like dealing with them. They're nice people. But the aggressives and the enthusiasts because they want to know specifically, perfectly, like horsepower, torque, fuel economy ratings, both city, combined, and highway driving, trunk space, turning radius, curb weight, towing capacity, storage compartment by square footage. They want to know exactly to a T. They don't want to hear you say, yeah, sort of, kind of like. They don't want to hear any of that. That's why we put them on this side of challenging. Now, this buyer speaks for results. This buyer speaks for admiration. This buyer speaks to be understood, or listens, pardon me, to be understood. And this buyer listens to be critical. I share this with you, Dalton, because when you get them on the phone on your cold list, you need to ask a question that'll get them talking, really get them talking, as opposed to you saying, hi, it's Dalton at Wendell Motors. We've got some fantastic incentives and programs that you can take advantage of before the month ends or before the year ends or today because it's Black Friday. May I go through some of those with you right now? And if the customer goes, yes, no, or sure, it's a one-word answer. How do you know they're aggressive, talkative, listener, or an enthusiast?
You can't, not off of one word.
Exactly. See how important it is to figure out how to say what you want to say, how much more important it is than actually to deliver any kind of information at all. That's why these documents are so critical for you to always have for yourself. You get a Bill Harvey profile, and Bill's driving a 2018 Jeep Renegade and a Wrangler Renegade, and it has it's a mid trim level. It's nothing really fancy, but obviously all the things that a used car buyer would like to have. And it's got 20,000 kilometers per year on it. So it's 4 years old. It's got under 80,000 kilometers. And you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this is perfect. Like, a Laredo would be perfect for them, or Willys would be perfect for them, based on what you have in inventory. But how do you know, Dalton, that they haven't had a child, or they're trying to downsize, or fuel economy has all of a sudden become a consideration? How do you know that they're even a Jeep buyer anymore? So what kind of a question could you ask that you're not so much looking for the next vehicle they want to buy, but you're looking to pattern, who have I got here? What question could you ask?
Hmm.
How about, what are you driving now? And they go, what? You called me, Dalton. Like, you should know what I'm driving.
Hmm.
You can say, I just want to know that you still have it. Do you still have your Jeep Wrangler? And they go, yeah. How do you like it? And they go, I like it. What do you do with it? And you see how you're just trying to establish a conversation? What do you do with it? Where do you go with it?
Hmm.
How long have you had it? Do you go to the Jeep Jamboree? Do you take it off roading at all? They go, no, none of that. Actually, it's my wife's car. Dalton, like, she drives it. It's like, great. How does she like it? And they're like, I guess she likes it. I say, well, describe for me a day of driving. I'm trying to figure out if you would be a good candidate for one of our fantastic programs. And more importantly, I may have a buyer for your car. But if you guys, if it has less than 10,000 kilometers on it, it's 5 years old, I can't imagine why you would want to change it. And they go, well, that's that's a good point. I think it's got about 80,000 kilometers on it. So you don't go to the Jeep Jamboree, you don't take it off road. What do you use your Jeep for? Well, Dalton, and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, the guard starts to come down, right? Don't be so worried about payments. Don't be so worried about pricing. Don't be so worried about interest rates and terms and selection and availability, let's just start a conversation. Let's just get talking to them. Don't talk about current events. Don't talk about sex, politics, religion, or COVID. None of that stuff. Don't talk about the news, even if they try to drag you into it, Dalton. But capitalize on that opportunity to hear the cadence at which they speak. So, for instance, Dalton, if you met me and you called me up on the phone and I said, well, you Dalton, I really like driving our Jeep. And yeah, we take it off-roading a little bit. And I like to do a little bit of the overlanding thing. So we put a rack on it, and the rooftop tent on it. And my wife and I, drive up to Halliburton, and we go into the Halliburton Trails Association, find a nice spot to camp for the weekend, do some fishing. And, basically that's it. Like Dalton, I love the Jeep and love you guys and come into service. Where on the quadrant would you profile me?
I'm good at talkative.
Bingo. Excellent. So now respond back to me with another Jeep replacement.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Yeah. So deliver back to me a Jeep replacement. So answer me back, and I say, what have you got?
Uh, well, we got a few similar Wranglers here that might fit your needs.
Excellent. Great. I fully expected that. It's a brief explanation, but you need to mirror and match the cadence of my speech. Not so much solving my problem, but the cadence of my speech. So do it again and talk fast, because that's what I want to hear. Give me lots of information, speaking quickly. Dalton, do it again.
Perfect. Well, we got plenty of Jeep Wranglers here that might be of interest to you.
Great. Now, that is a really easy, superficial, high level answer, right? We've got lots of Jeep Wranglers that might be of interest to you. How are you going to get me? How do you pique my interest? So it's one thing speaking quickly, but you've got it. This individual talks for admiration. How do you appeal to them speak in such a capacity that they're trying to impress you? How do you deliver that message back as well?
Like, what what do you mean by that? I'm a little confused about the question, really.
Okay, great. No problem at all. So looking at the diagram, we've got a talkative,
Hmm.
talks more than they listen kind of person, fast hurried pace, cooperative, and they talk to impress. Okay, they're speaking to impress you. That's why I said I've got a Wrangler. My wife and I go overlanding. We put a roll bar and a rock guard and a rooftop tent on it, and we like to go to the Halliburton Trail Association to go camping. Then if I were you, Dalton, I would respond with, hey, that's fantastic, Bill. I just love that. I watch a little bit of that on YouTube. The manufacturer shares with us all the time. Your outside kind of lifestyle. And quite frankly, I don't know a whole lot about it, but it sounds really interesting. Love to get together and hear some of your stories. Bill, we've got a perfect, I have the absolute ideal vehicle for you, because it's sitting on a set of 35-inch tires, which would be perfect. At least Jeep tells me through all of our product training that would be the ideal vehicle for a true off-road enthusiast. When would be a good time that we could get together and compare your Jeep versus that one, and you could just take it for an evaluation drive? No expectations, not talking about appraising your car, not talking about you replacing it. I just like to show you this one and get your opinion. What do you think?
I like it. Yeah.
See how the conversation just happens?
Hmm.
And now, Dalton, you're naturally selling yourself, right? You're not selling a car. It's you're attractive your attractive character, Dalton, that they buy into. If they're in the market for a Jeep and they live in Kitchener-Waterloo, you're the only guy they're thinking of because they've called or they've walked in, or now you're calling them, and they're always thinking, right? Anybody will trade their vehicle for a new, shiny, technologically advanced, better fuel economy, faster vehicle, but they just don't know that they can. That's why you're getting this lead list, because the manufacturer believes that. And they're like, pardon me, call these people, tell them they can get out of their vehicle and then do a new one for the same payment, slightly more, possibly even less. Those talk tracks are what I know you desperately want. But those talk tracks, Dalton, are almost innate and ineffective until you understand the individual that you've got. And you can't understand that individual until you get a conversation going. Because if they're aggressive, Dalton, over here in the upper left-hand corner, the quadrant, and they go, what do you want? Okay, what are you selling, pal? Like, I haven't got any time. You go, no problem at all. We've got Jeeps, 0%. It's a limited time. It ends in a week. I just want to let you know so that you didn't come in December saying, oh my God, why didn't somebody call me? That makes
Makes
sense?
sense. Yeah.
Great. You see, that is how you help people buy. That's how you transform them from where they are in their old car to the new car. And when you build that bridge effectively and you deliver the information the way they like it, you go from selling 4 cars a month, well, 2 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 to 25, lightning fast, because people are buying you, Dalton. They're really not buying the car. They made the decision on the vehicle. They haven't found a salesperson they can believe and trust. And when you appeal to them in this capacity, when you get all these documents over here, right? So the let me just get out of this. So when you have that buyer framework, and you know, based on the compatibility chart, that with 2 aggressive buyers, you and another one, that your business relationship is going to be good. But the shopping experience is probably going to be fair to poor. With an aggressive and a talkative, your buyer relationship, once they've purchased from you, is going to be good. But the shopping experience is probably going to be poor to bad because they talk too much and they're all over the map and they're asking you tons of questions. They won't settle down. And they're asking about wheels, tires, and thinking about a van, and then coming back to a pickup truck because it's 0% on a classic, and then back to a Jeep. Like, you know what? I really want a Jeep. Oh, I don't even know what I want. I got to sleep on it. With an aggressive and a listener, from a shopping perspective, if you're the listener salesperson working with an aggressive, yeah, the shopping experience is going to be excellent because an aggressive likes to talk for results. They want everyone to listen to them. From a buyer's perspective, it's probably going to be a poor experience because it's aggressive. That's the purpose of the compatibility chart. This is the reason why these documents sit off to the side, so that you can reference these and look at it and say, oh, wow. And of course, the legend is right there for all of those, for what the letters mean on the compatibility chart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense. I completely
Fantastic.
agree.
And again, you'll find those in the private members Facebook group under files, and you can download all these. These are all yours. Here's a cool thing that I've just recently implemented, and this is an autopsy that you can also do on all your customers. And I would encourage you to do this activity, and you could book another 45-minute session with me, and we'll go through it and just answer all these questions on all your unsold traffic. Take all your unsold customers and go through each one and try to detail just these 10 questions. and see, what comes out of it. That may tell you why your cold calling is, maybe you're struggling with cold calling. It's like, am I focused on the wrong thing? Right? If somebody's a millionaire, 0% financing really isn't a big deal to them. Sure, they want it. They don't want to pay any more interest than they absolutely have to. And they became a millionaire by saving money, not by wasting it. But is it the trigger that helps them buy? Probably not. And of course, the autopsy will definitely help you with that. And then, of course, once you get to step two, once you get to step three or step four, then your walk around. This is really detailed, as you're well aware. And if you haven't downloaded this document, you want to. And this is where you write down for yourself. First of all, this is, keep in mind these types of buyers: aggressive, talkative, listener, and enthusiast. I structured this walk around document for you, Dalton, so that position one at the front of the vehicle, feature number one is, and this is an example, fog lights. That's why it's in gray. So you're to fill it all in on your own. And you pick whether it is a safety, performance, appearance, or comfort hot button. And then, of course, over on this side, we have the feature of the benefit of what it does. Okay, so you want to go through this on every single model that you have, create a walk around for every model you've got. And the reason why I did this 1 to 10 is aggressive buyers are only going to tolerate a maximum of 2 or 3 features on each position of the walk around. Then the talkative may tolerate up to 5 features. The listener, a few more features, and the enthusiast wants your whole presentation. Where average, ordinary salespeople fail, Dalton, is they try to do the whole walk around presentation with everybody. No two customers are the same. You probably have already figured that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So definitely download this worksheet, get working on those 10 features. How do they fit into the hot button? Safety, performance, appearance, comfort, and economy from step number 2. And then of the manifesto on the on-demand lesson portal, and then the benefit. You've got to write out what's the benefit of that feature. And that's really your explanation. You'll do this, Dalton, for each model, keeping in mind your overview, benefit, permission, strategy, and the 6 positions of the car. This will make your presentation so easy. It'll make presentations so easy over the phone, so easy at a bar, talking to your friends, so easy with your family and friends at home. They go, Dalton, tell me about a Jeep. You immediately know you got a fast talker. You'll immediately know by the clothing that they're wearing. If it's really nice clothing, it all looks new. They're wearing an expensive watch, a Tag, a Breitling, a Hoyer, a Garmin watch, an iPhone, or an iWatch rather, like a gold one, a bejeweled one, anything like that. If they're wearing anywhere from $1,000 to a $25,000 watch, if they've got a big diamond ring on, if they're wearing nicely pressed clothing, they are an aggressive buyer. Always, every single time. And so you only want to share with them a couple features about it. And your really, really impressive features. That's the reason why 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 10 is listed that way. It's not just to get 10 features. It's top feature, second most feature, second most, third most, fourth most, fifth most, all the way down to 10 is a generality, right? That's where we mention airbags. That's where we mention power windows and door locks. Those are expectations of the vehicle. Every car has, every manufacturer has it. But up here at the top, we are the only ones that have an electronic stabilizer bar in our Wrangler. We are the only ones that have the Cummins turbo diesel engine. We are the only ones that have stow and go seats in the van. Yeah, some of our competitors have a version of it, but we invented that, putting them right on the floor. Those are the top features that you put at the top of your list because they appeal to all 4 of these buyers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Awesome.
Great.
Can Can you see how easy your job gets?
Hmm.
Like when
Yeah, way
you
easier.
memorize, yeah, when you build this and you memorize it, you imagine how easy it gets when someone comes in and says, Dalton, tell me about a Ram pickup. You're like, okay, I think I've got a talkative, but he speaks slowly, so it could be a listener. And so you'd ask a question like, well, tell me what you're driving now. And he's like, well, I don't have anything at all. Tell me what you've got. You know for sure he's a listener now, right? He said, I don't have anything. Tell me what you have. He doesn't or she doesn't want to talk. Now you slow your pace down and you make sure they're really interested. And this overview, benefit, permissions, commitment strategy is crucial with listeners. And you say to them, you know what I'd like to do? Before I take you out on the lot and I wear it a pair of shoes showing you everything I've got, I'd like to sit down and share with you the various models and how we see them fitting into your lifestyle. And you tell me which is best for you. How does that sound?
It's that easy.
Yeah. With practice, it's that easy, pal. It really, really is. But the operative word is a practice, right? So you do your work putting these together. And when you've got that and you really understand, the by the way, on that, go back to my files. There are several sheets in that walk around that Excel spreadsheet. Oh, where did that go for me? There we go. It's on my other screen, so we'll just pull that back over. Can you see that there, Dalton, that Excel spreadsheet?
No, I can't see an Excel spreadsheet. I see your email right now.
Okay. And where's my spreadsheet? Here we go. Okay. There we
There we
are.
go.
So there we are. So there's the Excel spreadsheet that walk around. Could you see that before?
No, this is the first time I'm seeing it right now.
Oh, dang. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
So this is what I was talking about moments ago, where you'll create this for each model that you have. And these are your positions down this side: front, engine, passenger, back of the vehicle, luggage compartment, and driver side. And remember, I was making reference to only 2 points for aggressives, 5 points for talkatives, 7 or 8 points for listeners, and all 10 points for enthusiasts. This is where you'll list those features that you'll be ready to deliver to anybody at any time on the individual model, hitting the hot buttons of safety, performance, appearance, comfort, and economy, and listing the benefits. So that's what I was making reference to seconds ago. With this Excel spreadsheet, you'll do this on every model that you sell. It's a huge homework assignment. It's invaluable. Once you have it done once, then the only other time you'll do it again is when the manufacturer introduces a new model. And you can actually say to customers, Dalton, you can say, I'm going to take my notes with me so I don't miss anything. Now, what I wanted to do, but the reason bringing it back to it was there's also the demonstration drive. So naming the feature on the drive, how it works, because on the walk around, you didn't show anything how it actually works. And again, you just reiterate the benefit of why they want it. So there are 3 demonstration drive routes there. There's the 10-minute route. That's for the aggressives. The 20-minute is for the talkative and the listener. And the 30-minute route is for your enthusiasts. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Great. So you'll list for yourself driving directions. You'll say, this is my 10-minute route. This is my 20-minute route. This is my 30-minute route. Then down here at the delivery, you're going to go through the feature function exercise again. A lot of these features carry over from your walk around, but there may be different features. Like in the walk around, especially the engine compartment, we wouldn't talk a whole lot about why we check engine oil, what engine weight, what engine oil weight specifically goes into this engine, and why you do not mix oil weights. You probably wouldn't reiterate crumple zones, energy absorb. Pardon me, Mansfield hinge. You wouldn't talk about the noise insulation blanket underneath the hood, and you probably wouldn't talk about fluid-filled engine mounts to isolate noise, vibration, and harshness. That's all at the walk around. Here at the delivery, we talk about oil dipstick, oil filled, transmission fluid check, a sealed electrically assisted rack and pinion power steering, electrically assisted sway bar linkage, um, uh, clear reservoir, so your windshield washer jug, your coolant fill. That's the kind of thing you would put here. Really, what owners need to know about their vehicle. Up here at the front of the vehicle, might be a little bit of a stretch for you to come up with 10 features. But again, for an enthusiast, they may really want to know that, right? An enthusiast may want to know how to change the light bulb on the headlights, how to get the entire headlamp module out, how to change the light bulb on a fog light, what wax to use, how to prepare the vehicle for a proper waxing, soaps not to use. You can talk about that sort of thing here at the delivery, where it wouldn't make sense over here at the walk around presentation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes plenty of sense. I like it.
Fantastic. Great. So again, I just want to go back to, I wanted to go back to Facebook and make sure you know where to find that. So this is found in files, okay? And all those files are there. If you're ever in
Mhm.
doubt and you want to find out where to find something, you can certainly do under discussions. The beauty of Facebook is it's a search engine all on its own. You could say um, walk around spreadsheet. And of course, it will take you to, it should have taken you to that. My apologies. Let's go back to our groups and discussion. Maybe just walk around. There we are. So there's your walk around and delivery PDF. And there's your walk around and demo delivery worksheet. So if you forget what it is, don't hesitate to use that search function in Facebook. It'll take you to all those. But again, easiest place to find them is in the private members group and under files, and they're all housed there. If you eventually do get Gmail and have a Google account, you'll find it in Google Docs. I'll very quickly show you what that looks like. I think I still have my Google open. No, that's not what I was thinking. The word Irish, Irish. Because here we go. Great. And then we just go down to our drive. And in drive, you should have access to the Auto Dealership Academy. And here's all the docs located there if you have Google Drive. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Fantastic. That's all the time that we have, pal. We went over a little bit. My apologies. Did I answer all of your questions?
Um, Yeah, I believe so. Everything seems pretty straightforward. Uh, um, yeah, I greatly appreciate it, and I'll try to practice some of the stuff we talked about today. And yeah, I'll definitely set up another Zoom meeting, and I'll update you on how it's going. And yeah,
Fantastic. The one of the things very quickly just before you go is this blueprint, and just going to go back to the way that you will see it. So these are my Google. This is excellent. Facebook once again. So then in the blueprint, here in the blueprint workbook, you will go to this page here, page 4 of 16. This is where you start to create a 90-day statistical average for yourself of new cars you've sold, used cars you've sold, as well as the income that you've made for the last 3 months. Then you'll list the walk-in traffic that you've had for the past 3 months. That might be a little difficult to track if you haven't been tracking this already. And all the way down to networking sales. So what you want to do in order for you to hit 8 sales this month, Dalton, and I'm talking about December, right? If that's your objective for December, you want to put in for sales here in walk-in traffic for for your objective going forward. This is your objective plan for December. So you may put up here at what would it be at $400 a car, and you're going to do 8 sales. You're going to put in $3,200 there. You'll put in 8 sales. Your conversion ratio of 20%, average commission $400, years in the business less than one, and you list this month of December. Then, Dalton, what you're going to do is write down how many sales you're going to get in these 5 opportunities right here. Don't worry about aftermarket for now. So walk in, people who come in the showroom, you're going to write down, I'm going to sell 4 because you sold 4 in November, and you've sold 4 to 6 all the way back for the last 6 months. So you're probably going to sell 4 again. Phone ins. How many sales will you get from people that initiated a call? Well, you may only get 1. And then referrals. I shared with you how to increase your pipeline with referrals. Go back and watch that video and go back and redo that step number 4 in the manifesto. And here you can put in one sale in reference, one referral and sold the whole month of December, and then one relationship sale. That's a repeat sale because you've got a relationship with them. So you're going to go after one from all the people you've ever sold to in the last 6 months at Wendell Chrysler. And then in networking, you're going to go after family, friends, and relatives, previous coworkers, colleagues from school, the hockey, the soccer, the football, the mountain biking that you do. You're going to write in one sale from them. And when you add it all up, Dalton, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sales. How do you like that?
I like that. I like it a lot. Makes a lot of sense. Breaks it down fairly easy, and
It creates a plan. It doesn't guarantee anything, but at least it gives you that confidence waking up in the morning. Yeah, I'm not making the kind of money that I want, but I'm doing the kind of work that I want to do because I've got a plan. So from those sales, Dalton, you'll fill in how many people you need to get. So if your closing ratio is 1 in 5, or 20%, in other words, or say it's 1 in 10, 10%. So you'll take those 4 people that you're going to sell, multiply that by 10, which means you got to talk to 40 people. And then you can do that right across the board here. Now you know how many people you need to talk to get these sales. You'll know how much commission you'll make. You can break it down new and used, and then you'll track it on a weekly basis. So here's your goal for each one of these opportunities, and then here's your actual per week. And you'll know what it is per week because you'll track it daily. And it takes nothing, no time at all to fill in these sheets. It looks like a great big huge document. It isn't, because there'll be lots of days where, in reference sales, relationship sales, and networking sales, you're just putting in nothing. Like, don't even fill that in if you want. But the cool part is at the end of the month, Dalton, you'll do a month end summary on yourself, like each department and the dealership does a month end. And then you'll plot that, your income, every single month. Just put a dot in one of these boxes and you'll be able to graph how well you're doing each month and your volume, and graph yourself. And just imagine looking back on this for an entire year, even better, Dalton, looking back on this being 10 years in the business and having these books for every year and showing someone like yourself starting out. You're like, this is where I started out and this is where I am now. But it all starts with, Dalton, need to know where you are, create your 30-day statistical average. So go back to November, October, September, and add those up, and how much you're averaging income per month, new, used, walk-in, traffic, introducing it to the manager, and selling, phone calls, appointments that keep and show, and then, of course, buy, and then your reference, your relationship, and networking sales. And then you can set rational goals every single month. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. I like it.
Cool. Oh, that's great. I really appreciate it. Do you have any questions for me before I let you go?
Um, yeah, one quick question. Um, so role playing different scenarios that I encounter with customers, with friends, family, coworkers, managers. It is it worth it doing that? Because I kind of find it feels a little like stupid and silly while doing it. Um, but is it worth like taking the time out of the day to do it? And
Well, yes. The short answer is absolutely 100%. Yes, you do want to. What you want to do is instead of role play, you want to experiment on your closest friends. So do you live and were you born and raised in Kitchener-Waterloo?
I was, yes, or am, yes.
Great. Great. So you've got probably a big friendship circle there and a lot of people you can call on.
Hmm.
Great. So when it comes to profiling people, you don't need to call them and talk to them on the phone. You probably know I would do this exercise, write down 10 names of all your closest friends and your family members. Just 10 names. That's it. And beside that name, you write down whether they are fast or slow based on the cadence of speech. Do they talk fast or do they speak slowly? Then the next column, you'll write in what behavior they are. Are they friendly and bubbly, or are they analytical? So once you figured out, are they fast or slow, Dalton, I want to take you back to that graphic we had earlier. Google Docs. Okay. And the buyer framework. Can you see my screen? This buyer framework?
Uh, yes.
Great. So now you've got a profile of your 10 closest friends and family. And you can label them. Are they aggressive or talkative, a listener, or an enthusiast? Dynamite. Now, Dalton, you go forward to, and I'm going to close that guy out, and you go to your walk around. Can you see my screen now, the Excel spreadsheet?
Uh, yes.
Great. So now, with your family and friends that you know are aggressives, talkatives, listeners, or enthusiasts, you can ask them, may I do a presentation of our brand new whatever it is? Like whatever's new to you or whatever's new in the model lineup, and just ask them, can I present this to you? And based on who they are, so if you've got an aggressive friend, 2 points at the front of the car, 2 points at the engine, 2 points at the passenger side, 2 points at the back, 2 points in the trunk and luggage compartment, and 2 points at the driver's side. That's it. And then you'll ask them, what do you think? Is this a cool vehicle or what? And they go, yeah, it is. Okay, let me ask you this. If you were in the market to buy one, would you consider it? And they go, don't try and sell me, Dalton. So I'm not. I'm just candidly, I'm asking, really, based on everything I've shared and shown you, if you were interested in a Jeep, Caravan, Pacifica, Ram, would you buy it? And if they say no, find out why. If they say yes, great. You know what you just do you know what you just did?
What?
You
I
role
qualified them.
play. What's that?
I qualified them.
You did. You role played qualifying. You role played walk around. You role played an interview, and you planted a seed that if they were interested in buying a new vehicle, you're the guy to go to. Now, if I said that in the beginning and I said, Dalton, what I want you to do is I want you to role play with 10 friends and family members, the walk around presentation, qualify them to buy it because they might. What would you say to me?
Say I'll try. Well, see how it goes, but I'll try.
Honestly, you try?
Pardon?
Honestly, you would try?
Yes. I
Well,
don't know how
thank
good I
you.
would do, but I would definitely try.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Dalton, after going through this exercise, you'll probably tell me the truth next time around. You'll be like, no, Bill, I don't want to because you're role playing
Mhm.
with them. But when I share it like you in this capacity and I say, Dalton, I want you to write down 10 names and I want you to profile them aggressive, talkative, listener, or enthusiast based on the cadence of which they speak and how you interact with them. If they're really friendly and bubbly, or they're very analytical and they're almost condescending and rude. Now you've figured out the quadrant that they're in and how you need to appeal to them because you're going to change yourself. People like buying from people that are like them. So when you get an aggressive, you've got to be aggressive back. You get a talkative, you've got to harness them in. You got to say, okay, that's really fascinating and interesting, but I got to show you this over here, right? They want to tell you about every car they've ever had. You get a listener, you got to make them talk because they just want to sit and listen. And you get an enthusiast, you got to be prepared to list it all. You don't role play any of this, but you experiment with this, facilitating these presentations with colleagues at work, your friends, and your family. You don't experiment, Dalton, with customers. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Awesome. Good for you. And I would make it really easy on yourself. I wouldn't expect them to come down to the dealership. Off shift, ask them if you could bring the Jeep over to them and show it to them. And you just say to the boss, say, I'm taking Jeep over
Mhm.
to one of my close friends and I'm going to sell it to them. You don't have to tell me you're experimenting on it. There's a chance they could buy it. They could fall in love
Mhm.
with it. They go, Dalton, this sounds crazy, but I really like this. I can't tell you, Dalton, how many students I've had do that. They go, Bill, I sold them. I go, hey, good for you. Not only is your experimentation, training, and role play effective, it's also profitable because you're going to your friends and
Mhm.
family and you're not asking your friends and family to buy. You're just asking them to be an audience for you to prepare yourself. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Awesome. Great. Great. Did I answer your question on role play?
You did, yes.
Good. Fantastic, man. Excellent. Well, you were fantastic today. Any other questions you might have that I can answer quickly for you?
I believe that's all. You answered pretty much all the questions I had before I got the chance to ask them. So, but yeah,
Great. I need a favor from you.
what's up?
Could you, at the end of this program, go right to Mark or Steve, whoever's on shift, and tell them what you got out of this right now while it's fresh in your mind? Can you do that for me?
I can do I can do
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. And if you have an opportunity to see Craig while he's coming in the store or rushing out or whatever he's doing, could you tell him very quickly, we just did our very first coaching call and how pleased you were with the information because he doesn't get a chance to see this. This is just between you and I. I record this for me and for me to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm doing the coaching well. So it doesn't go to him, it's just for you and I.
Mhm.
But it's fantastic when he knows that his investment is paying off. Can you do that for me?
I can.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. I really, really do, Dalton. Pleasure seeing you. I would say meeting you.
Of
We
course.
haven't met formally, but you've been in so many classes already. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Can't believe I'm saying this, December 1st. Holy smokes, this year's flying by, but really look forward to seeing you in the class, Dalton. Anything else I can share with you today?
I'll be there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a great day, my friend, and a super weekend and a fantastic close to November. And I'll see you next Thursday.
Perfect. You as well. Good.
Bye bye.
Bye, Bill.